Welcome to another edition of Five Strands with Art Del Cueto. Thanks again for tuning in. And like I said before, and I continue to say, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. For the longest time, I'd watch YouTube videos and I hear all these people say, oh, hit that subscribe button, hit that. And it got annoying. And now I'm one of those annoying guys, but I think it makes a big difference. The more that people that are involved, the more that you can see that are subscribed, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference for me. It should make a huge difference for everyone, honestly, because look, here we go. All right, I'm just going to get right into it. I have seen a ton of individuals that are out there talking now about the border. They're experts. Again, I will say it again. I don't even consider myself an expert, and I've been here my entire life. So I grew up on this border. Somebody made the comment and said, "Oh, you didn't really grow up on the border. You're from Douglas." Okay, I wasn't born right on the line, but that's pretty much as much on the border as you could even imagine. And realistically, it's just people like to complain, people like to point the finger, and the reason I'm saying this now is because there is a lot of people out there that are talking about border issues, they're talking about immigration, and yeah, they've acquired knowledge. I'm not even going to knock them on that one, but there's a lot of people that are not even close to experts, but they're trying to realistically cash in on the entire issue of immigration. I'm here just to tell you guys the truth. I'm not here to pick sides in any way, shape, or form. Sometimes people will point the finger and say, oh, you are picking sides. Well, I'm picking sides when it's the right thing to do and when some people are saying the right thing. And unfortunately, we have a lot of individuals on the left that are just far left now. And they're not only just not speaking the truth, but they're truly destroying our country based on the hatred that they have towards one group of people, or based on the hatred that they have towards President Trump. So that's my take on that. But for that reason, I need you guys to, one, subscribe, and two, share this channel, because that's the only way we're going to make some type of change, some type of change the algorithm at least. But look, there's many issues still going on. I've been talking to some agents that the numbers have been slowly going up. One of the concerns with the numbers going up is, I've seen it in the past, no one wants to take responsibility for gotaways. No one wants to take responsibility for more people entering in their assigned area. So what happens often is you have individuals in leadership positions that will point the finger at an individual in a leadership position in the sector over, or even in the station over, and say, well, they're not coming in through my area, they're coming in through your area. Or you'll have groups that will enter through one area, and somebody will claim that they crossed over into the opposing sector or the opposing station's area of responsibility, and say, well, you caught them, so realistically, I don't have a gotaways. I don't have that gotaway because you caught them. That's something that has happened so many times in the past. We've seen it, and unfortunately, I think it's gonna happen again, because no one wants to take the responsibility of going forward and saying, hey, you know what? President Trump, we're having this issue, we're having that issue. They're scared to be honest about it, or their ego, I should say, more so than being scared, their ego doesn't allow them to be able to say, look, we're screwing up here. We need help in this area or that area. And that's very dangerous. And the reason I'm saying that is because I saw it happen in the past. I saw it happen during President Trump's first administration at the same time. I was in that Oval Office when he was getting certain messages to him of how the numbers were, how the border was. And I was in that office, and I remember specifically shaking my head and him looking at me and saying, wait a minute, why are you shaking your head? What's going on? And we had other discussions after that. He called some of the leadership, and I still remember, some of the back and forth that happened from the leadership at that time, and President Trump had not been aware. So one of the biggest dangers of what's going on, I think, is gatekeepers. There's gatekeepers there that, because of their own ego or because they want to be the cool kid, just like many of these people that are out there talking about the border, saying, they're the experts and they know. There's a lot of ego that's getting in the way. Now there's a lot of infighting. I'm sure you guys saw, the back and forth that has happened in the last, week or week and a half, with articles that have come out pointing the finger at one person in leadership, then pointing the finger at another person in leadership. I get it. Things like that will happen. But what's very disturbing is we're in a very special place right now still, I believe, where our country can be taken care of for the better or for the worst. And at the same time, we're in a special position where the agency, Border Patrol as a whole, can get a lot of things done, but we cannot allow infighting or egos to get in the way. And unfortunately, I think that's what I've been seeing lately is there's a lot of egos, there's a lot of finger pointing, people saying, hey, this person did this person did that, back in the day, this happened back in the day. Look, I'm going to tell you just right now, I think I still owe Columbia Records or whatever record company it was where you would buy 10 cassettes for a penny or something like that. So just so you guys are aware, that's probably still out there on me. And I'm sure a bunch of other things. Look, at the end of the day, people are humans. It's how are they doing their job? What tools are they being given to do their job, I think is what's important. And the infighting is not helping anybody. It probably helps feed certain people's egos. And I think the most important thing that I always said and I've always harped on is when I was still employed by the federal government, I spoke. When I was still employed by the federal government, I got in trouble for speaking. I was under investigations for speaking. I was under investigations for being very vocal during the Biden administration, of course. Sometimes I was under investigation because individuals that I worked with myself were upset and egos got in the way then as well. And I was thrown under the bus. So what bothers me is you have these new individuals that are so, valiant, or people, or the media tries to call them valiant, all the while, all their information and all their stories that they're saying, the infighting, the dirt throwing, the dime droppings, it's anonymous. So I don't know. Look, I've never been anonymous. Heck, even my address is public, which is pretty stupid. But I've received back and forth on that end at times. I don't sit there and comment so much on the anonymous comments or the stories that come out because I just think it's BS at the end of the day. It's infighting and it's ego driven. So I think we need to push that aside and stop giving it any type of media or any type of press coverage. But again, I guess it's what sells. One thing that's disturbing before I let you guys all go, I'm trying to keep it under a certain amount of minutes. More videos under a certain amount of minutes because then I lose people because people sit there and say, oh man, Art went too long. So I don't want to go too long with this. I've been getting reports, and this is again how the infighting and what's really happening affects the agents. I've been getting reports of issues down at the academy. I've been getting reports from people that have been down there. Some of the trainees, have called me and sent me messages. That's why, again, subscribe to all my social medias. Send me messages. I won't answer it at the same time. It's important for me to hear because there's a lot of individuals that want to get their voice out, but not enough is being put out there, at least not by people that actually know. It's just by people that are trying to get, money out of being the cool kid and thinking they know the answers. And again, look, yeah, I've been retired for about a year, but this is all I've ever known. And I got time vested, as corny as it sounds. I really care. I care about the agents. I care about the administration. I care about the Border Patrol as a whole. I care about all law enforcement. But obviously, I was an agent within Border Patrol. But I've been getting calls from some of these trainees and people out at the academy that some of the issues that they're having is uniforms. This is crazy. It almost sounds like the FARC, the mercenaries down in Colombia. They're telling me that some trainees are being told, hey, return some of your rough duty uniforms because we need them in order to be able to dress the new classes that are coming in. There's also there's also people that are reporting me at the academy that some of their uniforms sometimes fit too big, so they're being asked to roll the uniform, not from the bottom, but roll it from the top in order for the uniform to fit. And one of the craziest ones that I just heard is there's a shortage on holsters, so they don't have enough holsters for their guns. So it just depends on what holster is available on what gun you're going to get. And there's always that mix-up between a Glock 19 or a Glock 47. I always carried the Glock 47 first and foremost because I was part of the team that got the Glock 47s into the Border Patrol and gave design ideas and everything else. However, it is ridiculous that within the U.S. Border Patrol, in the United States government, because of these ridiculous shutdowns and budget restraints or whatever you want to call it, we have agents or trainees that are being asked to roll their uniform. We have trainees that are being asked to return some of their regular duty uniforms to the academy so they can be able to give them to the incoming classes. And it is crazy to think that you're being put in a position that the gun you're going to receive is based on whatever holster is available. It doesn't make any sense. And I guarantee you that somebody in leadership knows about it, but the message is not going all the way to the top. And that's what's concerning. So subscribe, share, send me your messages throughout my different social medias. Let's do our dangdest to make some type of difference because, again, we're in a good spot. Let's not ruin it. Like I believe we ruined it last time because egos got in the way. The infighting needs to stop. Just plain and simple. That needs to stop because, again, you're defending our nation's borders, and as I've said, you need to be properly trained. You have to have the proper equipment first and foremost, especially coming out of the academy. And another issue is, and I've said it, the numbers are now coming up. We need to make sure that we're honest with each other. If they're coming in, if there's gotaways, we need to be honest. The majority of agents have been removed from details and they've put on the line because everyone's so paranoid of numbers going up or gotaways. We need to be honest. If something is needed, we need to be vocal and say, this is what we need moving forward. But again, gatekeepers are a problem. They always have been. Ego getting in the way has always been a problem. And of course, the infighting is always disgusting. So let's stay the course. Let's get things done right. Let's show that honor first is more than just a slogan. Okay? On that note, till next time, stay safe and God bless.